All right, now let's say you are asked to create a regression equation, but you don't have the use of a graphing calculator to do that. Well, in such a case, if you don't want to go out and buy the graphing calculator, you could always use Excel's regression feature in order to, or actually Excel's chart feature in order to create a regression equation. Let me show you how you do that. What I have here is I have the budget. This budget is going to be in thousands of dollars for a certain municipality over this period that goes from 1995 to 2016. So basically, each of these represents thousands of dollars, budgetary dollars, and over here we have the year that the budget was this much. So if we're talking about this first one, that's $5 million for budget. 5,126,000, 5,451,000. So these are in thousands of dollars, and this is just the year, okay? At any rate, we have dollar amounts over here and years over here, and what we want to do is create a regression. So here's what we're going to do. The first thing I want to do in creating my regression, what I want is I want to kind of shift everything over to start my graph at 1995. So instead of having these be my x values, I'm actually going to count years since 1995. So I'm going to create a column here in column D. This column is going to be years. Oops. Years since 1995. So in this column, I'm going to have how many years have passed since the year 1995. So in the year 1995, obviously 0 years have passed. In the year 2000, 5 years have passed since 1995. Here's how I'm going to create that. I'm going to highlight this cell D2, where in the first cell in this column, that's not the title. And I'm just going to take equal sign. I'm going to type an equal sign. So you see I've typed an equal sign, which tells Excel that I'm about to type a formula that I wanted to calculate. And the formula I want to calculate is 19, or oops, let's see, is this year, whatever year is in this cell. So I click on that cell and subtract. So I hit minus. So you get the minus sign. 1995. So I'm taking whatever year is in this cell and I'm subtracting 1995 or 1995 from it. I press enter, and of course that first one will be 1995 minus 1995, which means 0. That means in the year 1995, 0 years have passed since 1995. Then I'm going to highlight that cell that had my formula, A2 minus 1995, and in the lower right hand corner there's that little nub right there. I'm going to put my cursor right over it until it turns into a plus sign. I'm going to click and hold and just drag down all the way to the last year. So you see it drags it all the way down. And then it calculates that formula in each cell. So A2 minus 1995 is 0. A3 minus 1995 is 5. A4 minus 1995 is 10, and so forth. So this column now represents how many years it has been since 1995. This would reflect if we started counting time in the year 1995. So 1995 would be 0, 2000 would be 5 years after 1995, 2005 would be 10 years, 2010 would be 15 years, and so forth. Then I'm just going to copy over the budget row. Just going to copy this and bring it over. Copy, paste it over here. All right, so now I have this new table, and the only real difference between these two tables is that in this first table, the years are pretty much listed the way they would be in the Gregorian calendar, but over here I decided to start counting in 1995, so this column represents the years that have passed since the year 1995. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to create a scatter plot for this. So I'm going to highlight the data, highlight all the data here. This is going to be my X value. These are going to be my X values. These are going to be my Y values. And I'm going to go up here to insert. I'm going to click insert, the insert tab, and I'm going to go over to charts. There's a chart section in the Insert tab. And one of the charts that you can insert is this one right here. Insert XY Scatterplot. When you click on that, it asks you what kind of scatter plot do you want to insert. I'm just going to insert the normal scatter plot, this kind right here. And there's my scatter plot. All right, so once you have your scatter plot, you don't really need to worry about the table anymore, because from the scatter plot is where we're actually going to create our regression. So you see I have all the points, all the ordered pairs graphed. Have all, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have all 6 ordered pairs that represent these 6 years and budget numbers graphed. From here, I'm going to choose one of the ordered pairs, any one of them, and I'm going to right click on it. So I right clicked, and you scroll down after you right clicked, and you're going to choose add trend line. So you go to add trend line and you click that. And then this opens up. It opens up the Format Trend Line dialog box. You're just going to go through and choose the kind of trend line you want. Well, I'm going to do a polynomial trend line. There's linear regression. You can do a linear trend line, exponential, power regression. I'm going to do a polynomial regression. So I'm going to click polynomial, and I'm going to make a second degree or quadratic polynomial. So that's the kind I want. Depending on what you want, you may choose one of the other options here. But I want a second degree or second order polynomial function. Scrolling down a little bit more, I see that I can display equation on chart. You want to make sure to have that checkbox checked. And when you check that checkbox, it comes up with this equation. So this is the regression equation that you are looking for. This is the regression equation that you're being asked to find. So if you need to create a regression equation, whether it be linear regression, quadratic regression, cubic regression, exponential regression, you can always use Excel to find it, and that's the method. And as you can see, you have a quadratic function here. That's the quadratic regression. So if I wanted to predict what was going to happen to the budget, let's say in the year 2020, all I would have to do is figure out how many years have passed since 1995 in the year 2020. So in the year 2020, let's see. Year 2020 is going to be 25 years from 1995. So all you'd have to do is replace x in this expression with 25, which represents the year 2020, and it would tell you a prediction. It would give you a prediction for what the budget would be in that year. So that's what the regression would be good for.